Highest rainfall in a quarter century triggers historic flooding across the capital city. We'll show you the City Council and MIDH response. But did the Met Service drop the ball? And in Belize City, they went after the Queen Pin. Doris will tell you about a gang shooting that has left a woman critical and police on high alert. Also, a former police officer who was caught on camera sexually assaulting a female officer gets off on the sexual assault charge. We'll tell you about it. Plus, the BDF needs its food. Our whistleblower tells us why there are so many invoices under $10,000 at the BDF. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Monday, July 13, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Crank.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
The biggest soccer season is here. Are you ready to experience the front row from home? Experience stadium level immersion with Samsung's latest technology. Perfect for every room. Your favorite Crystal UHD and QLED smart TVs are ready for you. Now at the best price. From your 32-inch personal fan zone at just $369 to the massive 85-inch home stadium experience for only $2,579. We have the perfect upgrade for every fan. Get yours with confidence at Cellular World, the authorized distributor in Belize, and receive a 1-year warranty. Visit us today and take advantage of these promotions. Valid until June 15th. Upgrade to the front row at home. Experience with Samsung and Cellular World.
We project that tourism will generate revenues of around $1.4 billion this year.
And every visitor's tax flows straight to the BTB.
I think it'll be more than that too.
The law is simple. That money must be audited, tabled in the House, and gazetted every single year. But it hasn't.
That is a special little fund that does not have the oversight of other funds.
And we've already seen what a lack of oversight brings. Is the same thing happening at BTB? Minister Mahler, where are the BTB's audited reports? Why have you not tabled a single one as the law requires?
We are entering into very dangerous kleptocracy.
Minister Mahler, table the audits, account for the people's money.
That requires a forensic audit.
Hi, I have been an educator for 30 plus years. As a teacher in what is called a disadvantaged neighborhood in Belize, I see the struggle of our children. School can be tough and home can be tougher, and the streets can seem quite appealing. Alcohol, drugs, freedom. You might be in your own gang. I can tell you that never ends well. I see it every day. Forced to run from the police, forced to hide from other gangs, confined to your turf to save your own life, and then ending up either dead or in a small cell. Gang life is not the life for you. Stay in school. Work hard. Be strong. Choose to live free and live right. Choose life.
A message from the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Violence Prevention and Enforcement Unit.
The world is watching. The stakes are high. And with an Atlantic Bank credit card, your moments start online.
Bro, the World Cup tickets just dropped. This is our chance. We can't miss Messi and Ronaldo's last World Cup. I have my credit card ready.
So how many tickets, guys?
I'll take 2.
1, 2.
I want 3.
Go further, experience more. Make your online purchases seamless, secure, and in real time.
All right, let's buy the tickets now.
What did you do, bro?
I need to enter a password.
Oh, Atlantic Bank's credit card has a 3D secure feature to protect your online shopping.
Check your email.
Some transactions require an additional layer of security. 3D Secure adds an extra verification step. An OTP is sent to ensure it is you authorizing payment.
Guys, we're going to the World Cup! Yes!
Your online transactions made with Atlantic Bank credit cards are fast, safe, and verified.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
For 5 decades, Caribbean Shipping Agencies Limited has stood at the forefront of Belize's maritime industry, connecting Belize to the world. Founded in 1976 by Mr. Stanley Longsworth Sr., he developed a wholly Belizean-owned, family-operated enterprise led by himself, his wife Laura, and his beloved brother, John Jack Longsworth Sr. Under the stewardship of these directors and supported by a team of dedicated staff, the company quickly earned its reputation as Belize's premier shipping agency. A partnership that has stood the test of time was formed in 1981 with our principal client, Hyber Limited and Hyde Shipping Corporation. What initially began as a bi-monthly cargo service evolved into weekly and now bi-weekly vessel calls, delivering the flexibility and reliability needed in today's competitive global economy. Together, Caribbean Shipping Agencies and Hyde Shipping Corporation have built their success through exceptional customer service and dependable shipping solutions. Over the years, Caribbean Shipping Agencies has expanded far beyond traditional cargo services. Operating throughout Belize's maritime boundaries, Caribbean Shipping Agencies delivers professional maritime services, not only at our principal commercial ports located in Belize City and at the port of Big Creek, but also at our offshore islands and remote destinations. Caribbean Shipping Agencies has played an integral role in the establishment and continued growth of cruise tourism in Belize. Proudly acting as port agents for most of the industry's largest and most innovative cruise operators, such as the Royal Caribbean Group, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, and MSC Cruises, to name a few.
50 years of exceptional service and the experience garnered has allowed our company to become Belize's largest and most well-rounded shipping agency, specializing in attending to vessels of all types, including containerized and bulk carriers, fuel tankers, cruise ships, military vessels, project vessels, and even private and commercial motor yachts. Additionally, we provide stevedoring consultancy and operational management services to importers of bulk cargoes such as wheat, fertilizer, steel, and project cargoes. For us, it's critically important that moving forward, we not only preserve the vision and protect the legacy established by my father, but as a company, that we are prepared to grow and evolve to ensure that we remain a principal stakeholder in an ever-changing and dynamic local and global maritime community.
With experienced leadership, dedicated staff, and a tradition built on excellence, Caribbean Shipping Agencies Limited remains committed to serving Belize and the global maritime community for generations to come. Caribbean Shipping Agencies Limited, proudly Belizean, trusted worldwide.
Belize is growing, and as our nation grows, so does the demand for electricity and new energy solutions. More homes, more businesses, more opportunities. BEL continues to strengthen the system that supports this growth, reinforcing infrastructure and solidifying capacity, preparing for what's ahead, ensuring reliable service for homes, for businesses, and for communities across Belize. Keeping the lights on every single day. Belize Electricity Limited, prepared for growth, prepared for Belize.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tonight, Belmopan residents, engineers, and city planners are still trying to figure out what happened in Belmopan on Saturday. The capital city saw record flooding in various areas, but really, what triggered it? Approximately 150 households were affected, and waves rolled through the peripheral communities of Las Flores, Salvapan, and San Martin. Tonight, residents of Greater Belmopan are asking how this could have happened in the shining city on the hill, the one so famous for its drains. Julissa Roberts has this story from the capital.
This is an image of the 50 of 150 damage reports being assessed in the city of Belmopan, scattered in various areas but primarily in San Martin, Salvapan, and Las Flores. These residents are left to clean up after the waters receded. Mayor Pablo Kawit says the hardest hit communities were those surrounding the 10 Cents Creek. The flooding has reignited concerns among residents over whether Belmopan's drainage infrastructure is capable of handling increasingly intense rainfall. Kawit says this weekend's event downpour, which dumped 8 to 10 inches on the Garden City in just a few hours, was anything but ordinary.
This weekend's occurrence was a very unique circumstance. The Belmopan area received a lot of historic levels of water, specifically the Belmopan area, right? Starting from Armenia to Belmopan. We have handled a lot of severe rainy storms in the past. I think the last one like this weekend was around the time of Mitch in 1998. Last year February we had a slightly bad rainy season, and we didn't reach these levels of flooding. We have improved the drainage system since then, but as I've tried to explain to some of the residents, the problem was not our drainage system. The problem was that the river, the Belize River, was already flooded. That is where all our drainage systems dump into. So the corridor by the highway that was flooded out that is the area where water usually moves over from Belmopan over to the Belize River.
For one Salvapan resident, watching her belongings get ruined was a harsh wake up call for a necessity of disaster planning in an area of climate extremes.
I have only too much is kind of a thing, but the next rest that damage and everything get wet. So
have you experienced something like this before in Belmopan?
No, ma'am, I never experienced this. This is the first time. I never faced this in my life yet. Maybe it could happen again because the rain just start, and then we have to just prepare now.
The flooding also exposed another vulnerability: access to the capital. With sections of the George Price Highway underwater, motorists were forced to use alternative routes through the JNW area and Cotton Tree, raising questions about whether Belmopan needs additional emergency access roads. Are you all looking into potentially trying to develop another route to get in Belmopan? Because let's say in the event there was an emergency that someone had to get from Belmopan to Belize City, what would have happened in that instance?
Yes, we are looking at new access routes, but along with looking at new access routes, we also have to many times consider security. So our expansion assessment with those new entries is in collaboration with the police as well, because security is one of the main things that people usually bring up when you open new roads. They give the crooks or criminals new routes so that they could hide from the police. So we have to ensure that we develop properly, and there is presently 2 roads in the JNW area that connect to the highway. And that's the route that was being utilized during this present flood.
Despite the flooding, emergency shelters saw little use. A temporary shelter was opened in Belmopan on Saturday, but no residents checked in. The only shelter that accommodated evacuees was in nearby Armenia, and it was since closed. Talisa Robert, 7 News.
And while the City Council is preparing for contingencies, was anyone truly prepared for the volume of rainfall that poured down on Belmopan? And was there sufficient public information before it happened? The National Met Service sounded the alarm Friday afternoon, issuing its first alarm on an incoming tropical wave. Central areas of the country were placed under an immediate excessive rainfall warning, with forecasters predicting downpours of 2 to 4 inches. But what actually fell was more than double that. And today, the Chief Met shared with us what he characterized as historic, coming in close to previous rainfall record dating back to 2002.
So yes, over the weekend, we had a tropical wave that crossed the country on Saturday. That system came along with a very strong low-level jet, as we refer to it, strong winds in the atmosphere. And there was also upper-level support for the system to produce significant rainfall, especially over the Belmopan area, the Cayo district. In terms of numbers, we recorded in a matter of about 12 hours, Belmopan got 273.4 millimeters, which is 10.8 inches of rainfall in just about 12 hours from about midnight until about midday. To put that in perspective, the average rainfall for Belmopan is about 245 millimeters for the month of July, which is 9.7 inches. So the capital city recorded more than its monthly average in just 12 hours. Historically, this is not the highest that the city has seen. On June 19, 2002, we recorded 334 millimeters of rainfall, which is 13.1 inches. So even though it's a significant amount of rain, it didn't break historical record overall for Belmopan. Other notable areas, stations, La Gracia, which is just a few miles to the northwest of Belmopan, got 8.5 inches, and Hershey got 8.4 inches. So in that general vicinity, we saw a significant amount of rainfall in a very short time period from this system.
So, why couldn't they predict the level of rainfall with greater accuracy? According to Gordon, predictive models frequently miss rapid onset, extreme weather events, leaving the country vulnerable to sudden flooding. And that's critical information because another tropical wave is approaching in the next couple days.
The system has moved away, the tropical wave moved away. We got improvement in weather conditions yesterday, Sunday, and up to this morning. However, there's another tropical wave approaching, which will cross the country tomorrow or later tomorrow night. That system is already producing some moisture over the area, and we have seen some rainfall returning, especially over the southern 2/3 of the country this morning into this afternoon. And we expect those to continue and increase tonight into tomorrow with some more showers and thunderstorms expected. Model prediction are going for about 2 to 3 inches maximum. We got to be very careful. The models are not picking up these extreme rainfalls. So that over 10 inches of rainfall at Noapansa was not even registered in any model that we saw. They are not picking up those extremes. So it's always important for residents to know that when we give you a forecast, the model is just a guidance, and we can sometimes get much more than those models are saying.
And Saturday's over 8 inches of rainfall had a consequential effect on the highway infrastructure heading into Belmopan. The George Price Highway at mile 45 was closed for 5.5 hours from late morning to mid-afternoon after Mount Pleasant Creek overflowed, sending high, fast-moving currents across the pavement. The closure effectively stranded commuters traveling westbound to Belmopan or eastbound to the city. Today, speaking via Zoom, the MIDH chief engineer told us that it was a hard decision, but a necessary one.
It was really a difficult decision for us to make. I know when I discussed it with the minister, he was not happy with the decision because it's a major highway, as you are mentioning. However, in an effort and an abundance of safety, we had to ensure that the motorists using the highways are safe. And from what I saw on the site, that water was moving at a high velocity across the highway that we could not take the chance to allow vehicles to pass through. Two major sections were affected on our highways. One was the Mount Pleasant area, located between mile 45 and 46 on the George Price Highway. And also we had water crossing the highway between mile 43 and 44 near Venice. The most significant one was the Mount Pleasant area where we had over 2 feet of water crossing the highway. That water basically originated from the west of Belmopan, coming from G&W. As you may know, we're doing construction works along the George Price Highway at this point in time, and exactly where the water overtopped the highway is where we're supposed to build a new bridge. So we had the diversion in place at that location. It was expected that we were going to cut that road this week because we were going to shift traffic over to the diversion. But now we have to restrudge now because that has been damaged. We still have to proceed with the construction of that new bridge. That new bridge structure is really, really important to the George Price Highway project because this is the second time that flood event has occurred at Mount Pleasant. The last time it was in June 2020. And so it has repeated itself 6 years later at an even higher intensity. And so we expect that we will try and start this bridge very soon, maybe within another couple of weeks. It will take us at least 1 year to finish that bridge structure. And so we have to have the diversion in place to allow traffic to continuously flow along the George Price Highway. But we also want to look at that back road. In the event we have a repeated occurrence of this rainfall, that we will also have an alternate route for vehicular traffic to pass through Belmopan.
While they will develop an alternate route into and out of the capital, the fact is that while the 25-year flood was certainly a factor for Saturday's event, the changing landscape is another Moody discussed: deforestation.
Most of the rainfall was just focused over the Cayo district, most notably in the Belmopan area. And so the surrounding villages of Cayo South was affected. We believe that those areas were affected because of deforestation happening in the area. There's a lot of that happening in this area, honestly, and it is really affecting the runoff and the flow going to our drainages and the drainage structures that we have, that they're really over capacity, that they don't have sufficient capacity to deal with these flows. And the idea is that those drainage in Belmopan are large. However, because of the land clearing that is happening beyond Belmopan, it's pushing a massive amount of water through those channels that those channels have even overtopped. So Belmopan was known to be having large capacity drains, but now those are even considered small because of the overcapacity and the amount of runoff that is filling those drains in quite a short period of time.
And tonight there is a flood alert for the Belize River Valley, which can expect flood waters to reach their communities within the next 2 to 3 days. Chief Hydrologist Tennille Hendy told us about the affected watersheds.
We do have several watersheds that were severely impacted by the excessive rainfall events, primarily the Belize River Basin, which comprises the Belmopan City, the outskirts of what we call Belmopan City or Greater Belmopan City area, as well as some stations downstream. So for the station within the Cayo district that received flood levels is the More Tomorrow station, which peaked above 11 meters on the 12th of July. And this was a sharp increase from about 1.8 meters to 7.55 meters. With on the 12th, that is the 13th. It crested on the 12th at beyond 11 meters because we don't have gauges beyond that 11 meters. So it exceeded the historical water levels in that section. The Iguana Creek also experienced rapid rise. In addition, we have the Sibun River Basin that also had severe flood levels, where the water levels exceeded 3.5 meters at the Sibun, and this was a linear increase in the water levels. And lastly, we have the City River Basin, which has experienced the second highest increase. The river levels rose from about 1.5 meters on July 10th to 7.7 meters by 6 a.m. on the 11th of July.
And while we'll continue to monitor those river levels for the MIDH, Saturday's flood came at an opportune time, just as they are about to install a new bridge at Mount Pleasant.
We believe that it was an opportune time for that to happen, even though we had to close the road for about 5.5 hours. We believe that it has highlighted to us where we have some weaknesses and where we can improve our drainage structures around the highway. And so with what occurred at the Mount Pleasant, that was beyond our control. There was nothing much that we could have done about that. It was really an excessive rainfall event. I believe it's in excess of 8 to 10 inches of rainfall that fell in a short period.
Moody says the floods have also exposed a major vulnerability in the infrastructure network.
Has this exposed a major vulnerability in our nation's infrastructure?
Yes, it has. Definitely it has. And we can't run away from that. That is something that is inevitable. However, as a ministry, we're trying to see how best we could alleviate that situation by the construction of this new bridge structure that will be located at Mount Pleasant. But it has exposed a weakness within the highway structure, especially at the Mount Pleasant location.
With another tropical wave on the way, NEMA's coordinator Daniel Mendes says they will continue to assist those most impacted by the floods.
After the noting the rainfall, flood conditions were registered in the Belmopan area, which you have seen the images of. As a result, the Belmopan Emergency Operations Center was activated and work began with the Belmopan City Council and has continued up to today. NEMO remains in close coordination with the National Meteorological Service and the National Hydrological Service, our district emergency centers, and other authorities to monitor evolving conditions. In Belmopan, we have been conducting assessments over the weekend, and we have been providing assistance to communities and persons who were affected by flooding. We are also continuing our work to determine the extent of the impact and to continue to identify immediate needs of persons in these areas. The information gathered from these assessments will guide response and recovery efforts and ensure that assistance is directed to the communities and persons most in need. As of this morning, we have conducted over 100 assessments within the Cayo district and some in the Sand Creek district. We have also been working in the Toledo district as well, providing support to communities who were affected in that area. NEMO continues to closely monitor communities along the Belize River Valley as we expect these river levels to rise over the next 24 to 48 hours based on the assessments provided to us by the National Hydrological Service. Our district emergency operations centers in Belmopan remain open. In Toledo, we continue to support those communities, and those remain on partial activation. And we are preparing the Belize Rural Emergency Operations Center in anticipation for any potential flooding conditions which we may see.
And while the weather and flooding situation remains dynamic, the road closure was a major inconvenience to hundreds of road users on Saturday. The chief engineer takes responsibility for it and apologized.
I would be the first as the chief engineer, the lead technical person for the ministry. I would definitely like to apologize that we had to close the highway. However, the rainfall event that occurred was beyond my control, was beyond anybody's control. We took it in an interest and an abundance of safety to not allow people to pass through that area because of the high velocity flow that was passing there. I mean, I was out there, Jules, and I went vehicle by vehicle, turning vehicles back, informing them that they could not pass because we were more concerned about the safety of the public. Yes, definitely, I will take responsibility for the closure because I was the one that initiated the closure. However, what occurred over the weekend, only the good Lord has control of that.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, 3 gunmen targeted the Queen Pin Doris early this morning. She's critical tonight, but police are on very high alert. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
When the power goes out, life is disrupted. Be prepared and keep your home powered up with a generator from Benquip. We carry brands such as Honda, Kohler, and JCB. Schedule your installation, maintenance, and assessment to keep your generator ready and waiting to protect your family and home the next time the power fails. Stay in control of your power with a generator from Benquip. Equipment, parts, service.
El evento de fútbol más grande del mundo por fin llegó y Smart te invita a vivir toda la emoción del mundial. Antes de que empiece cada partido, predice quién se lleva la victoria. Entre más predicciones hagas, más oportunidades acumulas. Suma un punto cuando le aciertes al equipo ganador y si le atinas al marcador exacto, obtienes hasta 4 puntos. La persona con más puntos al terminar el mundial se lleva $2,500 en efectivo. Y eso no es todo. También habrá premios semanales durante toda la competencia. Además, el líder de los cuartos de final se lleva un paquete completo para armar su Watch Party. Participa directamente desde la app de Smart por solo 50 centavos por participación. Las predicciones estarán disponibles del 1 de junio al 18 de julio del 2026. No solo veas el mundial, vívelo con Smart. Smart, bring people together.
Our police officers have a tough job. They work all the time, walking the streets, manning checkpoints, doing special operations in every neighborhood, in every community. They fight crime and keep the peace, serve and protect 24/7. Every day they put their lives at risk, facing hostility, aggression, judgment. And let's be honest, some of our neighborhoods are no joke. Some of our people are no joke. Let's try something different. Let's teach our children to respect the police, because the police have one job: to make our communities safer. And that's something we all want. We need to stop turning a blind eye when our children do bad things. We need to stop protecting the criminals. Belize is small, and in every neighborhood, we know who the bad people are. We know where the gangs, drugs, and guns are. Let's work with the police for the sake of our communities and to save the lives of our children. Let's be the village, all of us. We can have the Belize we want.
A message from the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Violence Prevention and Enforcement Unit.
Today, we're putting Happy Bums baby diapers to the test. Just look at the beautiful design, strong, soft, and made for your baby's comfort. Happy Bums can absorb up to 500 milliliters of moisture. Let's compare it with a leading diaper brand. We'll pour 500 milliliters of water into each diaper and see how they perform. Now it's time for the tissue test. As you can see, Happy Bums stays dry to the touch, while the leading brand leaves noticeable moisture on the tissue. Choose Happy Bums baby diapers for reliable leak protection and all-day comfort. Look for Happy Bums baby diapers at a store near you.
In 2020, the budget for the medicine that stocks our public hospitals was about $19 million. Today, it's $52.5 million. Nearly 3 times as much in just 6 years. Did our need for medicine really triple? Or is something happening to that money? A $2 million contract with no tender. $42 million that skipped open bidding. They dropped the quality standard and repealed the drug rules, leaving no inspector to check any of it. So, Minister Bernard, where is all the money going? Is the same thing that happened at the Ministry of Defense happening here? This is our money and our medicine, Minister Bernard. Account for it. Audit the medicine budget. Show us where it went.
One moment, everything is perfect. But life can change in an instant. When the unexpected happens, being insured with ICB changes everything. ICB is here to guide you every step of the way. Life happens fast. Protect yourself with the Insurance Corporation of Belize. For more information, call 224-5328 or 224-5329 or visit icbinsurance.com.
People don't travel with cash anymore. People would stop and they want to do a coffee tour, they want to buy coffee, but people don't have cash with them. Online banking facilitated a lot of what we do. I don't have to run to town and I have to use fuel and other expenses. Atlantic Bank actually approached us. They facilitated us with a bank account, which is something that we didn't have in hand, and then with a POS machine. I sit and sip my good cup of coffee and do payments.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together. Running, slow-mo.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
She's known as the queen pin of the Southside Gang, but tonight Doris Grant is in critical condition at the KHMH after coming under heavy fire last night in a gang-related ambush. Jo Marie Lanza has more.
3 gunmen fired as many as 30 expended shells into this Nissan Titan pickup at around 1 o'clock this morning as it crossed the Belle China Bridge. Austin Underwood and Doris Grant, along with an associate, had just left the Princess Casino and were heading back to their home on the south side when they came under attack.
This morning, police responded to a shooting incident at the Belle China Bridge. Upon their arrival, they learned that persons were in a vehicle and persons came and fired several shots towards the direction. The vehicle was driven to the Kalhusha, where Doris Grant was observed with several gunshot injuries. She is listed in a critical condition at this time. Information is that they were driving across the bridge when 3 male persons approached the vehicle, and all 3 fired several shots towards the vehicle, causing the injuries to Grant. She was along with Austin Underwood and Andres Orozco, a Colombian national. We are currently reviewing video footages and seeking persons in regards to this shooting. Approximately around 30 shells were recovered.
Do you know the type of weapon that was used?
A 9mm pistol.
Police are certain it is gang-related, and it is not the first time Grant and Underwood have been attacked in this way. The Reggae Street residents were previously targeted back in June of 2024 while leaving a concert. They were also crossing a bridge that time, and both received minor gunshot injuries. Grant's vehicle was described as riddled with bullets. In February of 2025, Grant's vehicle was burned on Vernon Street right after a failed mediation meeting with another city gang. And then on New Year's Eve 2025, her driver was killed as he sat inside her pickup. The gunman may have wanted to target Grant. She continues to be a target of a rival city gang, and with that kind of firepower declared last night, that gap between life and death was razor thin. For police, the priority is to make an arrest and quell any retaliation, which is not uncommon in this kind of high-velocity attack.
No motive has been established at this time. No suspects have been detained. We have several operations ongoing at this time to prevent any form of retaliation. We have several operational units in the city doing patrols.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
And while the attack on Grant was attempted murder was the case on Friday night in Santa Elena when contractor Ricky Dawson Jr. was shot and killed in a drain outside of his yard. It has the appearance of an ambush, but who would have wanted Dawson Jr. dead? Jaleesa Roberts spoke to his family.
These are the candles that have been lit in the very drain that 33-year-old Ricky Dawson Jr. was found in after he was shot and killed on San Leopold Street in Santa Elena town.
On Friday, the 10th day of July 2026, police responded to a shooting incident in Santa Elena. Upon the arrival, they learned that a male person had been shot. He was identified as Ricky Dawson. He was seen with multiple gunshot injuries. Information is that Dawson was in the area of his house when a vehicle arrived. A person came out and fired several shots towards his direction, causing his fatal injuries. We have 2 persons in custody in regards to this murder. They were detained this morning and will be interviewed. No, we do not believe it is connected to no other incident. We believe it is drug-related.
But for whatever reason police believe he was killed on Friday night, his relatives knew him as a family man.
Ricky for us was a caring, hardworking young man. He knew what he wanted in life and he went for it. Ricky was not a person that you saw out there drinking or smoking. He never had tasted alcohol one day in his life. Like the crowd. His happiness is working with his horse because he does horse racing. He has sheep, I think, and some pigs, and basically just family. He was a dad more than anything else, and for his daughter that made the highlight of his life.
But police say that Dawson was known to police.
Is he known to police, Dawson?
Yes, he is known to police.
But when we asked his Aunt Paula whether or not someone was after him, she said they would have never thought that someone would ever want to hurt him.
He was quiet, quiet, and actually, somebody who could handle himself. So, we don't have no reason to believe that a life in danger. Do nobody nothing out there.
And apart from the father of a 9-year-old daughter, he will be remembered for his passion.
I would have to say his passion for food. He could eat a horse. If you know him, he's very tall, extremely tall and very slim-bodied. But he always had a healthy appetite. The first thing he come in at the house, he wanted to eat at the pot. But yeah, he's helped a lot of people. He's helped a lot of individuals. And that is the Ricky we know and the Ricky we will always remember.
And that's how they choose to remember Dawson Jr. But his aunt is sending out a strong call for criminals to stop the ruthless violence.
We don't need to stop this nonsense, man. Families are being torn apart ridiculously. I have to watch my nephew. I have to bury my nephew. I have to watch his daughter growing up without a father. We have more and more fatherless children in Belize. And we have seemed to lost our sense of humanity. We need to stop that.
Jaleesa Roberts, 7 News.
Earlier this year, you met Luana Gillette, a former police officer whose life was turned upside down after she was sexually assaulted by a fellow cop at the San Ignacio police station. And it was caught on camera. The incident happened more than 2 years ago, and she has still not received justice. Today, Gillette and her alleged assailant, Dermond Dawson, were back in San Ignacio Magistrates Court, but the nightmare is still not over for Gillette. That's because, as she told us today, the presiding magistrate ruled that Dawson has no case to answer in the sexual assault and will only have to answer for harm. Dawson was also unrepresented in court today. It's the worst case scenario for Gillette, but she says she is not giving up the fight. We will keep following this story. Murder charges against 28-year-old Andre Authors ended in an acquittal today after Justice Nigel Pilgrim found him not guilty of the March 8, 2025 killing of Mark Usher Jr. in Belize City. The prosecution alleged that Usher was fatally shot while walking home near the corner of Jabiru and Fabers Road. Although the judge found a key prosecution witness to be credible, he ruled that the police identification procedure used to link Authors to the crime was unreliable. Authors was acquitted based on that and released from custody. Here's how his attorney, Simeon Sampson, outside of court, explained it further.
The judge was not satisfied with the procedure adopted by the police in conducting the identification parade. Basically, that was where the Crown fell short of satisfying the judge beyond a reasonable doubt, because the case was all about identification. This witness did not know my client at all before. And he only saw him at the material time for about 8 or 9 seconds. That was what killed Dog. First of all, the judge was expecting that in the parade there would have been other people with the like complexion, height, similar to that of the accused. But that was not done, and the judge picked that up as failure in conducting the overall identification.
Yesterday, a video posted by a tourist sparked intense outrage after he captured his colleague petting a jaguar cub. Victor and Ruben Stoll were in the Mountain Pine Ridge area where they happened upon a mother jag and their cub. They then begin to capture as they chase the cub down a trail. Victor Stoll then explains in a Facebook post that they put the vehicle between the mother jaguar and the cub before approaching the cub. Ruben Stoll then proceeded to touch the cub, which was in obvious distress. At one point, the cub even hissed at his assailants. The Facebook posts also explained that the men had been traveling in the region trying to find a jaguar. They had been in the reserve along with Belizean Leslie Penner. Jaguar experts have since explained that this act by the tourists could potentially lessen the cub's chances of survival, since after being touched by a human and picking up the scent, its mother may abandon it. The Belize Zoo's executive director also explained in a Facebook post that Belize's Wildlife Protection Act prohibits the molestation of jaguars, which are fully protected under the act. Since then, we have reached out to the Minister of Sustainable Development to ask whether the tourists will be penalized. However, he explained that he had not seen the video before and would be forwarding it to the wildlife officer. After the break, our BDF whistleblower explains how the BDF needs its food, which is why there may be so many invoices on the $10,000. Don't go away.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
The next station is not just a place, it's the vacation capital of the world, the Mexican Caribbean. Do you know why we are the capital of vacations? Because no other place on Earth brings together so many ways to vacation in one single destination. From rest to adventure. From nature to culture. From luxury to freedom. Every vacation imaginable, except snow, and we plan to keep it that way. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
Belize is introducing electronic invoicing, or e-invoicing. This means invoices, tax receipts, debit and credit notes will be issued, transmitted, and received in a structured electronic format, not a PDF and not a paper document. If you are GST registered and you invoice other businesses or government agencies, your documents will soon need to be created, sent, and verified through Vertex Belize, Belize's national digital platform for electronic invoicing. Why does this matter? Because it makes tax reporting faster and simpler. It reduces fraud and ensures every transaction is transparent and secure. The e-invoicing rollout will start with large GST-registered businesses, then smaller businesses over time. For more information, contact the Belize Tax Service at 613-2508 or email etdinfo@bts.gov.bz. Electronic invoicing, simplifying tax compliance through digital innovation.
Rev up your engines at Puma Energy and get ready for an exciting chance to fuel, fill, and win. For every $30 purchase on fuel, a liter of lubricant, or $10 at Super 7, get a ticket to win one of 20 fuel prizes of $1,000. And here's the thrill. Fill up with premium Clean Tech Pro and double your chances of winning. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Head to Puma Energy and Super 7 today for your chance to fuel, fill, and win.
Running slow-mo.
All your special moments deserve a special place. Book now and save 50% on accommodations and 20% on spa. Only at Naya Resort and Spa.
Altoona is one of the most visited Mayan city up until lately. The adjacent communities have collaborated together to see how they can get a space here that the wood carvers could actually market and sell their product. Not having the POS machine in the past, we have lost a lot of sales. Atlantic Bank helped supported our business, giving us the opportunity to get the POS machine. Now with the POS machine, we are able to do more sales, and that will, also bring more, finance to our families.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
SJC High School Class of 1978, 48th Class Reunion in Placencia. With great joy, we welcome you to the SJC High School Class of 1978's 48th Reunion in beautiful Placencia. We're grateful that our class has remained connected and continues to reunite after all these years. As we gather, we celebrate our shared memories, life's milestones, and the enduring friendships that continue to bring us together. We also honor the cherished memory of our classmates who are no longer with us. Though they are gone, they remain forever in our hearts and an important part of our SJC class of 1978 family. If you are a member of the SJC High School class of 1978 or a faculty member from that era and would like to attend, please contact Derek Vasquez in Belize or Dan Brackett in the United States for more information. We look forward to reconnecting, reminiscing, and creating new memories together in Placencia. Reunion 2026 slogan, living in the moment, celebrating life's milestones, and cherishing childhood friendships.
Game 4 of the NEBL Finals is heading back to Orange Walk this Friday night. And it is the final home game for the Orange Walk Running Rebels. And a must-win, as the Rebels don't want the Belize City defenders to pop the champagne and celebrate with that 70K on their home court. So Rebels Nation, you need to come out in unprecedented numbers this Friday night, 9 p.m. at the Orange Walk Sporting Complex to ensure the series continues. Giveaways, the NEBL Girls Plus more. It's Game 4 of the NEBL Finals this Friday night. Will the Orange Walk Running Rebels force a Game 5? Or will the Defenders be the champs? Sponsored by the Government of Belize.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The BDF needs its food. That's how a former commanding officer for the Army Services and Support Battalion explained the practice of batch invoicing. That's the practice we've been exposing for weeks, where a cascade of invoices for under $10,000 would all be processed on one day. We have reviewed almost 2,000 leaked invoice screenshots the Ministry of Defense paid out to 10 entities, and 96% of them were under $10,000, which means they don't have to go to the Treasury Department for approval. That has the pattern of suspicious transaction, but according to the man who once dealt with those supplies, it's actually a practice built out of necessity.
We're looking at a cascade of thousands of invoices under 10,000. From your experience, why does this happen?
Well, this happened simply because the BDF needs its food, and the government takes a long while to pay these vendors for the items that we need. As a former commanding officer for the Services and Support Battalion, I am fully aware that this has been a practice for some time now. Now, we would ensure that it is below the 10,000, because you need to understand that most of these vendors would have already gotten a tender approval which is basically a contract to provide a particular item for the police defense force. Now, if they go through the process of getting payment for the entire month, for the amount of items that they provide to the BDF, the process takes extremely long before they get their money from the government of Belize. So by getting or doing it in portions of under 10,000, we could get our items much quicker.
Because if they wait to get paid a bulk payment in contract, maybe they get paid 100,000.
Yes.
A portion of the value of the contract, it will take months.
Yes.
And while that is happening, the supplier becomes impatient, maybe run out of cash flow.
That is correct.
And when that happens, what happens to the supplies?
When that happens, we don't have no supplies on our shelf. That's when you would probably get your inside scoop from soldiers, officers who will tell you, guess what, they're eating just bread, or they're eating just noodles, or they're just eating rice, or whatever the case might be, because suppliers would stop sending in their items. This practice you would see clearly much when it comes to the end of the financial year. When you see January, February approaching, you will find out that in the BDF stores, you won't find much items in the stores, because by then, the money is either finished or suppliers are waiting to be paid before they provide their new set of items before the financial year comes to an end. And that's pretty much how it has been for some time now.
So, have you ever seen situation where the stores, the shelves are empty and there's nothing to eat?
A number of times. As a commanding officer, member of the BDF, we would have to go and approach the same vendors and pretty much be begging them to provide us with the item, assuring them that we would ensure that they get their payment within a certain time span.
Our whistleblower also exposed the practice of buying rations for the BDF, not at the best available price, but at the price that would most benefit those seeking kickbacks.
And as far as I'm concerned, pork chops is pork chops, but you would find out that you might get pork chops from supplier A for $5, and then supplier B for $6, and supplier C for $10, and you're getting the same pork chops. Why is that so? I can't tell you. As far as I'm concerned, when we want a certain quantity of the item, it reduces it when the price have to be ranging in that manner. And then not only that too as well, you find out that you cannot spend the amount of money that you actually have, because in some cases, most of the product, as in the pork chops, would have been gotten from the guy who is selling it for $9 rather than the one who is selling it for $5.
And why do you think that is?
That is, you and I know it's because someone is getting their kickbacks and they want their portion of that money that is going to that supplier there. From my observation, rarely you will find that you'll get the best item for the best price. In most cases, what suits the individual who is pilfering is what they would go with.
They were in the headlines tonight discussing the unpredictability of extreme rain events. And hopefully some new equipment they received today will help in forecasting such events. The National Meteorological Service today received a donation of 3 SOFAR marine monitoring stations from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology. Now, these will be utilized at English Key, Glover's Reef and Southern Turneffe Atoll and will aid in early warning services. The chief meteorologist explained more.
We are today receiving a donation of 3
marine monitoring stations through the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology under the RCCAME project. This project is funded through the European Union, through the Caribbean Development Bank, with financing from the European Union. The project will assist us to enhance our monitoring capabilities within the marine environment. Many persons know that we have a vast network of weather stations on the mainland, and we do have a few offshore in the Keys, but these stations currently only monitor atmospheric variables, pressure, your air temperature, and wind, and that type of thing. We knew that we have a gap in terms of monitoring oceanic variables, and these stations will assist us to do so. So it certainly is a very important initiative to enhance our capacity in providing more early warning to the public, building resilience, especially along coastal communities. As we know, most of our residents reside along the coast. So it's very important that we are able to build that capacity to provide those early warnings.
So as Mr. Gordon mentioned, Belize has received 3 buoys. 2 carry a conventional mooring, so just your anchor line and the buoy itself. 1 is what we would call a smart mooring, has a smart mooring. So this one has temperature sensors along a data cable. So as opposed to just the temperature at the surface, you get a temperature profile throughout the water column. So it has 1 sensor at the top, 1 in the middle of the water column, and 1 close to the bottom. So you get that range of temperatures throughout the water column. Apart from that, each of them measure barometric pressure. You get waves, they all measure waves, and then you get a wind speed which is derived from the waves.
Election activist Jerry Enriquez is still on the quest to force a redistricting exercise. As he describes it, there have been hurdles along the way, but there's also been vindication. Enriquez and his attorney has taken 3 cases to the CCJ and seen major wins. He gave us an update via Zoom today.
1, for the wasted cost that he was imposing on my attorney. That means the attorney must pay half the cost of the state for the case that we brought up. Secondly, was the procedure for appealing our case. That judge, there was also another technicality in which the opposing party was arguing that we did not properly file for the appeal. And it was based on the rule that the order for appeal must be signed, sealed, or otherwise perfected. And so that was another hurdle for us to cross. The CCJ ruled that appeal, the ruling in that appeal was not appropriate, and therefore it was thrown out. Thirdly, so we won on those 2 cases. We won, the CCJ threw out the wasted cost. It's a shameless cost that was being imposed by the judge in order to prevent us from moving further, and in a way to teach my attorney a lesson, as he mentioned, even before the case was judged. Then the other one that we won, of course, was the perfected order, which means that we could have appealed because the order was already signed and sealed by the judge. So that was the second one. The third one, our appeal, was the biased application. We wanted the judge recused from our case. The CCJ ruled that we must remit that appeal to the High Court, or our appeal for recusal of the judge. So those are the 3 cases. We have to go back now to appealing our case and to get that through the process. We have crossed those hurdles, and therefore we intend to challenge the ruling of the Justice Ondora on our case regarding redistricting.
The last time we spoke to Enriquez, he explained that he had sent a Freedom of Information request to the Elections and Boundaries Commission. He explained that while the government insists that the redistricting process is happening, it remains shrouded in secrecy. However, he got a response 3 weeks ago and his request had been denied. He spoke to us more about that as well.
The FOIA was basically seeking information as to the process for redistricting. Right now, everything seems to be done in secrecy. And so the public has a right to know how that process is going on. What are the proposals for redistricting or balancing the electoral divisions? The public has a right to know also if they are on target to complete this by the end of 2026, as the Prime Minister promised. The point is that we've been burnt before when between 2020 and 2025, after the Prime Minister repeatedly promised that redistricting will be done, all of a sudden it was not done. The proposal submitted by the Elections and Boundaries Commission was not accepted. It was carelessly done, in my view, because it did not meet the targets for international standards. And over 2 decades, there has not been redistricting as it ought to have been done. So we need to know, the public needs to know what is going on. I find that the response by the Elections and Boundaries Commission to be arrogant, and they're still maintaining secrecy. They ought to still provide some information, if not all, to inform the citizens of Belize where we're at and how we could, and just to keep us informed. This culture of secrecy and arrogance is unacceptable for any democracy.
I could tell you that it could be a very tiring, sometimes frustrating thing, but we have to keep our eye on the goal. And that goal is for Belizeans to be fairly represented in the National Assembly as is mandated by the Constitution. So that is the goal.
And since there is no ombudsman, Enriquez cannot challenge the denial of his FOIA. So he is now suing the government for not appointing a new ombudsman. Here's what he said about that.
Yes, we have a case on July 21st against the Attorney General for the failure of the government to fill that important post of the ombudsman. There is no way in the Constitution that a government can decide in and of their own selves that we can delay and not have an ombudsman. That is not right, and therefore we want the court to set that right so that it does not happen again. There is no reason to have an ombudsman in place, even though there is move to turn it into a human rights office. That should not prevent the people during that process to have an access to an ombudsman. In fact, the big flaw was that they terminated the former ombudsman without even having someone in place. That should not have happened. It is like saying, well, we will not have a governor general. Let us wait on because we're going to try to figure out what the role will be, or we will not have a minister in his office, or we will not have anybody. We will not have auditor general. We will not have these key positions until we decide when we are ready. That cannot happen, and that is unconstitutional, and therefore they cannot come up with those kinds of excuses.
Today, GOB handed over 4 new Toyota Hilux pickup trucks to the Sugar Industry Research and Development Institute, known as SURDI. An additional truck was also donated to the Climate Resilient and Sustainable Agriculture Project. The CEO of the Ministry of Economic Transformation explained more.
We have a project that is here to assist especially the northern districts with the sugarcane. No? Government approached the World Bank in 2022 and requested for a loan to help our farmers because they were in a very difficult situation back then. So the World Bank stepped up and agreed to help us with this climate resilient agriculture program, which will look at integrated climate smart agricultural practices, building capacity for institutions, and the handing over of this vehicle is part of this building that capacity to CERDE, which is the research department that will help us in collecting more data and ensuring that we achieve the objectives of what was being laid out in this 5-year program.
The set of 5 vehicles that CERDE is receiving along with Sugarcane Production Committee will, at this time when weather conditions are challenging for the agricultural sector, and in this case the sugarcane industry of Belize, northern Belize, it is very challenging when it comes to pests and diseases, and it requires more mobilization of our technical team in the fields to provide support to farmers, to do monitoring, and to do pest control and management. So this set of vehicles will certainly make our services to farmers and the industry at large more efficient, and will bring about the necessary support to all cane farmers in ensuring that we can bring back the industry to what it was some years ago.
And finally tonight, Belize's music industry is mourning the loss of acclaimed producer and musician Ken Doyle KS Beats Simpson, who passed away yesterday after a 2-year battle with cancer. The 42-year-old Simpson was widely regarded as one of Belize's most influential music producers, earning respect for shaping the sound of numerous local artists through his work at Simpson Productions and his distinctive production style. Tributes have poured in from musicians, entertainers, and fans across the country, remembering him not only for his musical talent, but also for his mentorship and lasting contributions to Belize's entertainment industry. That's all we have for you for our newscast tonight. Thanks for watching with your news. I'm Indira Craig. Remember, you can access a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook or YouTube page. Have a great night and join me back here tomorrow at 6.